Hi, my name is Josh Stokes. I've lived in Southwest Virginia my entire life. I've visited other places around the world, around the country, and there's just something about Southwest Virginia that is unique and special. Unfortunately, I can't quite put into words what makes it so special. So I'm going to show you. We're going to visit various businesses, events, and talk to the people who make this such a wonderful place to live. So join me on the community show. I can't wait to see you there. Hello, we're here today with Victoria Javier. She is the new programming director?
Yes.
Yes, she is the new programming director for the Floyd Center of the Arts. And today we are going to be talking about the new exhibit with the Floyd County High School art students. They have wonderful art. I really didn't expect this to be, walking in here, I didn't expect it to be high school students.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what is going on here and how this got started?
So the exhibit with the Floyd County High School has actually been going on for years and years. And the high school teachers, Kimberly Ingram and Aven work with their students throughout the year in their art programs, and the art that they produce out of those classes get exhibited here. And the students come and they hang their own work, and it's kind of an opportunity for them to learn about what it means to show as a professional artist.
Okay. So when it comes to, I know Aven and Kimberly are the two art teachers that have really spearheaded it this year. What does the Floyd Center of the Arts do? Do you choose the displays and how they're hung, or what is your role involved in this?
We normally will curate other shows, but for the high school show, they do it all themselves. They come in and they hang everything. We really just provide the space for them.
That's awesome. So when you provide the space for them and all this is being hung up, I'm sure you have a few favorites.
I have picked out a few that I like. I really like Zora Delaney's Genesis piece. I'm disappointed that it's not for sale. And then I also really like Stephanie Thompson, The Daily Commute. I thought that was a really nice comic. So yeah, I'm kind of partial to those right now.
So when it comes to artists that are wanting to get curated here, what would be the process and path that they go, or what is the path that most artists go with?
So it depends on what kind of show we're doing for that part of our calendar. We have a lot of juried shows, and we'll do call for artists, and they can submit work to us directly or through Cafe. We also will reach out to individual artists, but if anyone is ever interested in showing at the center, they can come by, they can email me, they can bring work by, and we can see what we can work out.
So what is the email address that they would be?
So the email is programming@floydartcenter.org.
Okay. And is there any sort of restrictions to artists that want to be a part of a show or an exhibit, or what would be, I guess, standard qualifications for exhibits?
There aren't really any standard qualifications. We accept any medium of art, and we have the capability to show like digital art or videography. So really it's anything people are interested in showing.
Videography. So when you're doing the exhibits, I'm sure you have something coming down the works. What's coming up next? So after these wonderful paintings and works of art and some of these sculptures, I really love those over there, and we'll get a good shot of those. What is your next exhibit that's coming in after this goes away in January?
So our next show is actually really fortuitous timing to come after the high school show. It's called our Emerging Artists Exhibition, and we have reached out to local universities and gotten recommendations for artists who are either freshly starting out in their artistic career or have recently changed a big left turn in their medium or what kind of portrayal they're doing. And so we'll invite those artists in and they will show their work.
And just a little off topic from here, it's my understanding downstairs you have studios. where some artists rent out and are able to work actually here at this location. What is involved in those studios? So what is on the grounds?
So we have a glass studio, which people are welcome to rent, and we also have open studios for glass. We have a pottery studio. People are welcome to rent that as well. And then we also have just one-off studios where people are welcome to rent and kind of do whatever artwork that they do inside their studio.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
One final thing. I did notice that there is like the blacksmith area out back.
Forge.
When does that get kicked off?
So we have had lots of instructors in the past, and right now I'm just in the process of looking for an instructor so we can start scheduling classes. But as soon as I find someone who wants to teach blacksmithing, it will be up and running.
If you know anybody who teaches blacksmithing, contact Victoria.
Please.
Thank you so much.
For sure.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, we're here with Kimberly Ingram,
Correct.
who is a Floyd County High School art teacher, and she is going to be discussing with us the exhibit here at the Floyd County Center of the Arts, where the high school students have so graciously displayed their work of art. It looks phenomenal. So
Thank you.
I will have to say, A, you're a good teacher, and B, your students are very talented.
Yes, they are.
So can you kind of give me a rundown about your relationship with the Floyd County Center of the Arts and what this exhibit is about, the main goals?
Okay. Every year in December, we put together an exhibit here in the Hayloft Gallery. We try to feature every student in some way. Some of our more advanced students are featured with several many pieces, but our foundation art students, we at least try to have at least one thing, if not two, into the gallery. And we've been doing this a long time. I'm not sure how long. I've been an art teacher at the high school for 11 years, and I know we've been doing it that whole period of time, but I think they've maybe been doing that for maybe 10 years before that. So I can't really tell you the exact number of years, but the center is so wonderful in that now they are trying to get these students to learn how to put up an exhibit, which is kind of like a puzzle. When you bring everything in and you lay it down around the floor and on the walls, you don't know how it's going to go together. And so we are learning to put colors together, or maybe animals together, or just different genres, that kind of thing. Like the pottery all in one area that kind of enhances other pieces. Like as you look here, you can see how this bowl, this beautiful bowl by Liam Burke.
You can hold it up a little bit so
yes,
that we can
you see that?
Yeah, we can see
There,
that.
it's on this pedestal, but it also goes with the pieces that are around here. So it unifies everything together, which is a word that we use a lot in art class.
Bring the unities.
That's right. Right.
So you have a lot of different types of art being showcased. I mean, you have sculptures, you have pottery over here, you have drawing, painting, and you're gonna, I'm sorry, I misspoke, sculpture. You're gonna have sculptures in the spring-summer exhibit, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I'm seeing a lot of the pottery over there, and we have kind of
Beautiful
like
pieces.
the house type pottery, and then you have your classic
And
type
my
pottery.
coworker, Aven Tanner, she's the one that works with those kids.
So Aven does a lot with the pottery.
Yes.
What is your specialty in the art
My
world?
specialty is painting. I do the advanced drawing classes, painting. I do have one foundation art class, and I do the sculpture classes. But painting is the thing that I love the most. I love to see how kids put it together and unify those pieces. We use the elements and principles of design, which are very important. And once you teach kids those, they can just blossom and bring it into their work.
So when you watch a student just first get into your foundations class and progress forward,
Okay.
can you describe the process of how they start and then seeing them their senior year about to go to college and study art.
Yes.
What is that like as an instructor and a teacher?
Well, I love teaching the foundation art classes because most kids, when they go into that class, some of them think they can draw, but the majority think they shouldn't be there. And I can teach anybody to draw.
Even me?
Yes, I can teach even you to draw. And it starts with lines and it starts with shapes, teaching them to see shapes, teaching them to see forms, and then working with your values. And so we start with simple shapes, spheres, cones, squares, cubes, you see. And then once they've got that, then we move on to like tennis shoes. And if there's just certain ways that you can show them how to go about it, and it makes it really simple, just looking at shapes. So I really love that part of it. I love watching the kids blossom. And then watching them go into painting classes, they continue. Now it's been a little bit harder during the pandemic because we had some virtual students last year, and so that's made it a little bit harder to get that progress that we like to see, but we're starting to see it happen now after one semester.
Kind of reminds me back when I was in school. Have you had any students give you the line, can we have class outside?
Oh yes, oh yes.
And now is a good excuse to do it.
It is.
We're in a
fact,
pandemic.
I took my painting class to, probably many of you in Floyd know Miss Polly's garden, and she has this beautiful place that overlooks all of the mountains in Floyd. It's just down the road, and I took my painting class there, and we did plein air painting, which means just painting outside, and they really enjoyed it. That was a fun day. We could take our mask off and enjoy ourselves.
Fresh air, I know most kids want to be outside anyway, and now you just have the good excuse to.
That's right. Exactly.
So what is the thing that you want to see the students blossom into? Even students who aren't pursuing art past their senior year, what do you want them to take away from your classes into their adult lives?
I want them to take away that art is everywhere. It's in the clothes you wear. It's in the car that you choose. The house that you want, your accessories. Everything we look at is visual. And the web, look at the web and how there's art everywhere. So it's very important to everyone's lives and how you're going to purchase that later on in life. Now, for my students who are extremely talented, they're going to take away a lot and keep building on that in college. So.
Have you kept up with any of the students that have turned it into a career?
Oh, yes, I have. We've had graphic designers, art teachers, photographers. I've had quite a many of my students. And photography really plays into all of those elements and principles of design that we teach. You need that to be a good photographer.
Oh, yes, yes.
So we've had a multitude of those.
The rule of thirds.
Yeah. And I've even had one student who, that was very good with her sculptural skills, and she became a theatrical designer for play sets.
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Stephanie Cerny was her name.
Oh.
Yeah.
Name dropping.
Yeah. Maybe I shouldn't, but I think she's in Atlanta.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yes.
quite the budding theater industry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Is there anything that you want the audience and anybody who will be coming to see this exhibit take away?
Well, I would like to say that art teaches creativity, problem solving, innovation, experimentation, self-discovery, and it fosters a really strong work ethic. I think we're not seeing as much of that in these days, but I think when the kids realize that when they come into Miss Tanner and my class, we expect them to work.
Oh, creating is work.
Yes.
I mean, you do have to. It's fun, and
right. It is fun.
Yeah. But it does take work.
And it can be therapeutic.
Yes.
I've had a lot of students that say that when they come from their other classes, especially those SOL classes, that they feel this pressure that they've got to do well. They come into our class and they just immerse themselves into their work, and it kind of relieves that pressure.
They want to do well because they want pride in the product instead of numbers on a page.
Exactly. And Miss Tanner and I try to make it really fun.
Well, it sounds like it.
We have a great time. We have music going at all times, and we play different types of music for the kids, and they get to choose also. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Wish I had art teachers like y'all.
Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us.
Yes.
And I'm excited to see the success of this exhibit.
Me too. I'm excited for the kids to come and show their parents.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, that'd be great.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we're here with Aven Tanner. She is the other Floyd County High School art teacher. How long have you been teaching?
Elementary art for 15 years, and then this is my 5th year at the high school.
Oh, wow. Okay. And it's my understanding that you are the go-to teacher for sculpting, pottery, a lot of the, I guess, more traditional 3D mediums.
Well, I teach a majority of the art foundations, and then pottery and a craft and design class.
Okay.
I was really excited for pottery because I have a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in ceramics, and so to be able to teach that after elementary school for 15 years, which I loved, but to move up to the high school and focus on pottery was really exciting.
And so you have been, since you've started teaching high school, have been involved in this particular annual exhibit every year?
5 years.
For
yes.
5 years. Okay. So a little bit about the exhibit itself. How have you seen this progress through the 5 years that you have been involved?
I feel like the community, I get a lot more, I don't know, last year or the year before, more feedback from community members. Like I'll just have someone come up in the coffee shop, or a friend will say, oh, we saw the art exhibit, the high school art show was amazing. So I kind of feel like it's becoming a little more popular in the community, maybe word of mouth, or just people getting out to look at the art in the community.
You're getting famous, is what you're saying.
I think so. Well, I heard the other day, one of the employees here said this is her favorite exhibit all year. She waits for it and just gets really excited. I think it's a different type of energy to see the youth, that's what I call them, the youth's energy in their art and their creativity.
So if you can, tell me a little bit about these pieces that are behind us.
Okay, well, so this was their last project that they just did, so they learned a lot of techniques and skills to kind of work up to the level of, we did either they did more of a Japanese style, old, Japanese style lantern, or they could do a house or a fairy house, or more of a traditional Dr. Seuss house, whatever they want to do. But there were a lot of techniques they needed to use, texture and sculpting and slabs. So there was quite a bit that was put into these pieces.
So from beginning to end, what is it that you first start teaching anybody who's interested in the sculpting and the pottery? We begin with using just our hands as our tools and focusing in on the pinch pot method. And from that, it's more of almost a therapy. Get to know the clay. I talk a lot about clay being like building a relationship, a friendship, and how much time you put into that and how much practice you put into it. So even with the simple technique of a pinch pot, it can be stretched in a lot of different ways. So I try to get them to make an asymmetrical pinch pot, a pinch pot with textures, a pinch pot with sculpted feet. So we work in that method, and it's a small amount of clay. It feels very good in the hand, and it's an ancient technique. I like to tie in history, and that's one of the first forms that was ever created was using the pinch pot method. Oh, wow. So what would be the method that they would have used for these final sculptures? Oh, okay. So this is a Slab Methods. Slab Method, they roll out the clay and cut the shapes out and then have to build the forms. And it was either cubes or cylinders.
But the project prior to that was a slab technique, but it was draped over a mold. So we kind of often build our techniques up. I also focus a lot on surface technique instead of just slopping a bunch of glazes all over a piece of pottery. We focus on stenciling, we focus on painting techniques, sgraffito, and inlay, and so we do a lot of different things on the surface.
What do you mean by sgraffito? I'm not familiar with that term.
So sgraffito, we happen to have one right here, where you put a glaze on the surface in the leather hard stage when it's still, before it's fired, and then you scratch. It's almost like drawing. So students who really like to draw, this one's a basic nice pattern, of course, but if you really like to draw even detailed drawings like human figures or animals, you can scratch into the clay.
So they can take what they learned from Kim and bring it into your class.
Yes. So we like when we get students that have had multiple art classes, because it shows, it really does.
So when you've been doing this for 5 years, what is the most, I guess, rewarding experience you've seen with your students' progression in learning art?
I would have to say, them finding themselves and their confidence level and their excitement. I feel like, especially in my pottery class, often they come in and they get their workout and they start working on things before the bell has even rung. And they feel a connection with their pieces, they have a connection with each other. So to watch it go from kind of a quiet, unsure environment to I got this, and they're socializing and helping each other, and just kind of feels more like a little vibe tribe going on. Everyone's really involved, and seeing the progression. And I have some students who take it again. I think often with all the academics and with everything going on, art classes are a therapy. It's a sense of relaxation and challenge, but challenges in a way that's more hands-on and activates the mind and creativity, and I think every human needs that.
Yes, and these last 2 years, I think us humans have needed that a little more. Speaking of which, how have you been able to overcome a lot of those obstacles and still be able to be effective as a teacher? Because it's obvious you've been effective. How did you overcome the obstacles?
I'd say building relationships is key. So if students know if you want to be with them, and they know if you are excited about the materials too. So I call myself an art nerd, a pottery nerd. They think that's really funny. But I let them know that I'm passionate about it, and I'm passionate about being with them, and so I think they know that. And so it was a big challenge teaching virtually. But even with pottery class, I got bins for each student and had them come pick up clay, and I did demonstration videos, and they brought back their projects. Technology is not my strong point. And also I just really wanted them to be at home with clay in their hands, and even though they were working at home, we were still doing projects.
So you've actually been in an interesting, did you teach elementary at Floyd County High School?
Or Floyd County, yes.
Floyd County?
At all,
not high school?
Miss Ingram and I both had the experience of bouncing around to all 4 elementary schools, and then sometimes 2, and it, honestly, I feel like working with children and working in the elementary school level, it has helped me as a high school art teacher. I know, I don't know, you have to have a little sense of humor and fun, and students know if you like, I don't know, it just kind of helped me to see everyone as the child in them, and the fun, like the fun, loving part of interacting with art. So
you've actually been put in a unique position. Have there been students that you taught in elementary and now get to see?
Pretty much almost all of them.
In high school.
They're starting to filter out as I'm getting older. I'm starting to notice that the new ones are coming in, but the last 5 years, I would say 85% of every face in the hallway and everyone that comes in the classroom, they had me as an elementary art teacher.
So that's a pretty cool experience because you're not just seeing them grow as, young adults into adulthood. You're seeing them, from kind of childhood stages and how they grow. What is that experience like?
Well, I still see the child in their face, like when I'm looking at them. But I have teenagers, and I'm, the mom of a 20-year-old and a 15-year-old, and so I feel like all the levels, I just really understand the youth, and I like them. I like hanging out with them, and feel like I can kind of understand their, their minds and their souls. I mean, just kind of what they're going through. And I think that having them in elementary school and coming into the high school also, they kind of relax. They remember me as, having a good time. And, so it's kind of that familiar feeling. But then I think sometimes students think it's going to be an easy class. They're like, oh, it's our elementary art teacher. This is just going to be fun and easy. And the fun part, but I actually have had students tell me that my class is one of their most challenging classes. So I think there's that level of having a good time and being creative and therapeutic and fun, but the students need to be challenged. So that part of it, I don't think they're ready for. It's a surprise.
Yeah. But it's a pleasant surprise.
It is.
You got to mix in a little bit of work with fun.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you would hope that your students learn from you coming out of high school, going into either professional art careers or just young adults making it in the world?
I focus a lot on having art help them to observe their world and to have a better appreciation of nature and tying it into history and other everyday life. To not have art as this separate little cube, but to make it part of their everyday life. And as it's like I keep mentioning the word therapy, it really is, and we all need that right now. And going into the unknown, it's hard. I have a lot of students who are really stressed about becoming adults, leaving their nest and their comfort zone. So I let the students know I'm never bored. My mind is always looking at everything and just seeing the principles of design and how how the shadows fall across the yard in the evening, and just taking that in. And I think in all in all, it just helps people to be happy. And when you connect with nature and with art and with yourself, so.
Oh, isn't that the ultimate goal?
Yeah.
To be happy?
Yeah, and how it ties into history, because we wouldn't know anything about humans from the past, and we're making history. So these will be around for thousands of years.
We hope so.
Yes.
And just don't let a cat in here to knock it off the edge. Well, Aven, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Definitely,
I really appreciate this.
Thank you.
All right, and come check out the exhibit. It's here at the Floyd Center of the Arts.